Hey y'all. I'm Miranda Wilson, and let me tell you. I was 34, runnin' my own small business, killin' it, and then boom. My own family tried to tear me down over grandma's inheritance. I never thought my own blood would take me to court, callin' me a liar, a manipulator, sayin' I committed fraud. But man, they had no clue what I had tucked away. Just one paper. That's all it took. The judge's eyes got real wide, and next thing you know, cops were rushin' through the courtroom doors. If you're watchin' this and you come from one of those families where blood means everything, hit that like button and subscribe. You're gonna wanna hear how I uncovered the truth behind Grandma Eleanor's fortune, and why cops showed up the second I pulled out that one single piece of paper. Growing up, Grandma Eleanor? She was my rock. While my folks were bustin' their butts workin' long hours, I was spendin' my afternoons at her cozy 2-story house with that big wraparound porch and a garden that smelled like rosemary and lavender. She made the best snickerdoodle cookies, the kitchen always smelled like cinnamon, and she'd sit me down, tellin' stories about how she came to America with nothin' but a suitcase and big dreams. Eleanor Matthews stepped off a boat from Scotland back in '55 with just $20 stitched into her coat lining. She worked her butt off, waitressin' in the mornin', doin' books in the afternoon, cleanin' offices at night. In 5 years, she saved up enough to open a little fabric shop. And that tiny store? It turned into Matthews Textile Enterprises, a company that started supplying fabric to major brands all over the U.S. Success ain't about luck, Miranda, she'd say, those bright blue eyes just sparklin'. It's about seeing opportunity where others only see problems. By the time I came along, Grandma Eleanor was a straight-up legend in the biz world. She'd been widowed for nearly 2 decades and never remarried. Thomas was my one true love, she'd tell me, always glancin' at that faded wedding pic she kept on her nightstand. Now here's the thing. Unlike the rest of the family, I didn't see Eleanor as some piggy bank or status symbol. I just loved being with her. We had real moments. Aunt Patricia. She only popped up when she needed cash for a new nose or whatever cosmetic fix she was into. Uncle Raymond? He'd swing by when he needed a loan for his latest guaranteed business idea, which never worked out. Me? I was there every Sunday just to hang. When I was 16, my parents moved 2 hours away for work, but I stayed with Grandma to finish high school. That's when our bond got even deeper. She taught me everything she knew, business stuff like negotiating, profit margins, managing employees. Basically, she passed down the Matthews business brain. You got the sense, she told me. They just want the money. And boy, was she right. Aunt Patricia, my mom's sister, had always been bitter about Eleanor's success. She married this real estate dude named Bradley, who always talked big but never quite delivered. Their kid, Trevor, inherited her sense of entitlement but not an ounce of hustle. Dude blew through 2 trust funds before he hit 30 and was always cryin' to Eleanor about debt. Then there was Uncle Raymond, Eleanor's youngest. He'd been fightin' alcoholism for years. Every time one of his businesses tanked, sports bar, car lot, failed tech thing, he'd come runnin' to Grandma, and she'd cut another check, all while givin' him the same take some responsibility speech. As she got older, hittin' her 80s, her body started breaking down. Arthritis made her fingers stiff, her eyes got worse, and when she fell and broke her hip at 84, I pressed pause on my growin' business and moved in. She told me not to, said I had my own life. But I told her, you are my life, too. And I meant that. For 2 whole years, I was there, helpin' her with meds, talkin' her to doctors, carryin' her up the stairs when she couldn't manage. We created new traditions, movie nights on Mondays, lake drives on Wednesdays, gardening on Saturdays. She couldn't plant anymore, so I became her hands. Meanwhile, the rest of the family? Ghosted. Patricia might call once in a blue moon, always steerin' the convo toward Grandma's will. Trevor popped in twice, both times a skin for money. Raymond showed up whenever he felt like it, sometimes sober, sometimes smellin' like a distillery. One evening, Eleanor got real quiet as we watched the sunset. "I've made arrangements," she said. "When it's time, it'll all make sense." I asked her what she meant. She just patted my hand and said, "I see everything, Miranda. I always have. Don't worry about the vultures." I wish I'd asked more. One of our last convos was about trust. "Money shows folks real colors," she whispered. "Watch who celebrates your wins and who gets salty. That's how you know who's who." And man, she wasn't lyin'. Eleanor passed on a quiet Tuesday morning in April. I was readin' her favorite novel, Jane Eyre, when she took her last breath. The room just changed. Like the light went with her. The next 24 hours were a blur, cryin', makin' calls, sittin' in her garden tryin' to wrap my head around it. And then, the family showed up. Like a tornado. Patricia came in cryin' loud, too loud. But as soon as she thought no one was lookin', the tears dried right up. Trevor showed up in a new suit with the tag still on, like he planned to return it after the funeral. Raymond reeked of whiskey and cheap cologne. Such a tragedy, Patricia told anyone who'd listen. Mother and I were so close. I nearly choked. She hadn't even checked in for months. The funeral was packed. Eleanor was loved. People came from all over. Even the mayor showed up to say a few words. Meanwhile, my so-called family scanned the crowd looking for folks with money or power. When I gave the eulogy, Patricia checked her watch 3 times. No shame. At the house after the service, I caught Trevor slippin' upstairs. When I went up later, Grandma's desk drawers were half open and stuff had clearly been messed with. Then I overheard Patricia talkin' to Raymond in the kitchen. "The will's be in read Friday," she said. Bradley heard Eleanor was worth over $15 million. I froze. $15 million? I had no clue. "What's Miranda gettin'?" Raymond asked. "She's been playin' the devoted granddaughter pretty hard." That hit like a punch. Devoted wasn't an act for me, it was real. Come Friday, we all met at Gerald Fisher's office. He'd been Grandma's lawyer forever. He gave me a warm nod before gettin' into it. "I want to state clearly that Eleanor Matthews was of sound mind when she updated her will 6 months ago," he said. Patricia and Raymond shot each other nervous looks. It started off simple, some jewelry here, some artwork there. Then, the bomb dropped. "To my granddaughter Miranda Wilson, who showed me true love and loyalty, I leave my controlling shares of Matthews Textile Enterprises, my home and its contents, and $12 million. The room went nuclear. Patricia jumped up, shrieking, "This is ridiculous." Raymond spilled water. Trevor turned straight purple. "That's our family money." Gerald stayed cool. "There are provisions for the rest of you, $200,000 each. Some personal stuff. That's all." "This isn't over," Patricia hissed at me. And she meant it. Later that day, I came home to find someone had been inside. Drawers were open, books pulled out, stuff everywhere. The back door had been left unlocked. And on my windshield? A note in block letters, "Give up what isn't yours or you'll regret it." I stood there in the dark, heart poundin'. This was just the start. I was standin' there in the driveway, hands shakin', starin' at that dumb note. Give up what isn't yours or you'll regret it. Who even writes that kinda stuff outside of a Lifetime movie? I took a deep breath, crumpled it up, and walked inside. But my brain was spinnin'. Like, this was real. My own family was actin' like straight-up criminals now. Grandma hadn't even been gone a week and they were already trying to scare me off what she left me fair and square. So, I called Gerald, the lawyer, and told him what happened. He told me to file a police report right away, which I did. Cops came, took some pics, dusted for prints, said they'd keep an eye out. Whatever that meant. Next day. Boom. Legal papers show up on my doorstep. Aunt Patricia and Uncle Raymond were suing me. Like full-blown, we contest the will, type of lawsuit. They were claiming Grandma was mentally unfit when she made those changes. Said I manipulated her into it. Patricia even accused me of forging the will. I was stunned. I mean, really, y'all? You weren't even there half the time, but now you want to act like I tricked her while spoon-feeding her oatmeal? But I wasn't about to let M stomp all over me. Nah. Grandma didn't raise me to be weak. So I lawyered up, hired this tough-as-nails woman named Kelly Park. She was sharp, didn't take crap from anyone, and she believed me. We started digging through old files, looking for anything that could prove Eleanor knew exactly what she was doing. We had doctor's notes, video calls, even little handwritten memos where she'd written down passwords and meeting notes just months before she passed. She was all there. No question. But then, I remembered something else. One night, maybe a year before she passed, Grandma had handed me this thick envelope and said, "Only open this if they come for you." At the time, I thought it was sentimental or maybe a journal or something. I had tucked it away in the back of my filing cabinet and honestly kinda forgot about it. But now, with all this heat coming my way, I pulled that sucker out. Inside was a notarized video statement. Dated. Signed. Witnessed. Grandma looked straight into the camera and said, "I know my family. I know what they're capable of. If you're watching this, Miranda, it means they're trying to take what's yours. But I chose you. Not because of blood. But because you showed up. You earned it." I stared at the screen, tears welling up. That was her. Clear, confident, sharp as ever. She even named dates and meetings with Gerald where she made the updates to her will. But that wasn't all. Tucked in with the video was a handwritten ledger, detailed logs of all the money she'd loaned to Patricia, Raymond, and even Trevor. She had receipts, amounts, dates, even notes like Patricia's second facelift, promised to repay but didn't. And right at the bottom, in bold, "Miranda owes me nothing. She has given me more than money could ever buy, her time, her care, her love." Y'all. I felt that. Court day came, and let me tell you, it was tense. Patricia walked in wearing all black like it was a funeral. Trevor had those dark sunglasses on indoors, trying to look mysterious, I guess. Raymond looked like he just rolled out of bed and into a tie. They were smirking like they already won. The judge looked bored at first, until Kelly stood up and said, "Your Honor, we have a video statement from the deceased and notarized supporting documents." Everyone froze. We played the tape. You could have heard a pin drop. Patricia's face went white. Trevor tried to act confused, like, "Wait, is this edited?" Raymond looked like he wanted to crawl under the table. And then the judge leaned forward, brows raised, and said, "Ms. Wilson, may I see the ledger?" I passed it over. He spent a good 10 minutes going through every single page. Then he said, "This changes everything." Before I could even process it, he banged his gavel and said, "Case dismissed. Will stands. And I'm recommending that this be reviewed for possible criminal charges." Boom. Right then and there, 2 court officers walked in, asked Patricia and Trevor to stay seated, and started questioning them about potential fraud and tampering. Turns out, someone did break into my house, and Trevor's prints were found on my back door. Yup. Dude couldn't even wear gloves. They didn't arrest anyone that day, but the investigation was real. And the family? They were done. Their case? Sunk like a rock. After court, I walked out of there feelin' 10 feet tall. Not 'cause of the money. Not even 'cause I won. But because I honored my grandma the way she deserved. So yeah, if you ever find yourself fightin' folks who should be standin' beside you, remember this: receipts matter. Love matters more. And sometimes, one piece of paper can blow the whole thing wide open. So yeah, after that court day, my phone was blowing up like crazy. Reporters were trying to get a quote, neighbors were suddenly super interested in chatting, and my cousins, who hadn't said boo to me in years, were now all, "Hey, Miranda. We should grab lunch sometime." Yeah, no thanks. But honestly, I didn't care about the noise. I just wanted some peace, and I wanted to do right by Grandma Eleanor. First thing I did, I went back to that old house. The one with the wraparound porch and the rosemary garden. I stood there barefoot in the dirt, feelin' the same breeze I grew up with, and made a promise out loud. I got this, Grandma. I'll protect what you built. Then I walked inside and started cleanin'. I didn't hire anyone. Nope. I did it myself. Took me 3 days to go through her stuff, cryin', sometimes, Logan, at the weird little knickknacks she collected, smellin' every scarf like it held her perfume. And it kinda did. I found her old ledgers, journals, boxes of letters from suppliers, even thank you notes from employees she'd helped over the years. One read, "Thanks for the down payment on my first house." Another, "Because of you, my daughter's in college now." That was the moment it hit me. Grandma didn't just leave me a company. She left me a legacy. So I rolled up my sleeves and got to work. Matthews Textile Enterprises? It needed some love. The business had been coasting on reputation for years. I brought in fresh designers, partnered with eco-friendly mills, updated the website, and launched a new line called Eleanor Blue. All vintage-inspired patterns, all soft as a cloud, and every tag had her favorite quote. Success isn't luck, it's love, wrapped in hustle. Sales went crazy. We got featured in a fashion blog, then a TV segment. Before I knew it, big-name stores were calling a skin to carry our stuff. And I made sure every single employee who'd stuck with us through the slow years got a raise and a bonus. Grandma always said, if you take care of your people, they'll take care of your dream. And the house? I didn't sell it. Nope, I turned it into a community space. It's now called Eleanor House. We hold weekend markets in the garden, run workshops for young women looking to start their own businesses, and every Wednesday night we host tea and talks, just like the ones me and Grandma used to have on that porch swing. As for Patricia, Raymond, and the rest of them, after the court mess, they disappeared for a while. Patricia ended up losing a bunch of money in some real estate thing her husband talked her into. Trevor? He's workin' in Florida now, last I heard. Raymond's still battlin' his demons, and honestly, I hope he finds peace. I really do. But do I talk to any of them? Nah. You see, forgiveness don't always mean reconnection. You can wish someone well, from way over there. And me? I'm good. I've got the business, the house, the garden. I've got peace. I've got purpose. And every time someone walks into the store or thanks me after a workshop, I feel her. I feel Eleanor. Like she's noddin', smilin', sayin', that's my girl. So if you're going through something messy with family, here's my advice: stay grounded. Trust your gut. Document everything. Keep receipts. Keep your dignity. And above all, don't let greed turn you cold. It's your heart that makes you worthy, not your bank account. And hey, if you've made it this far, thank you. Seriously. If you got something from this story, drop a comment below. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. 'Cause maybe, just maybe, your one piece of paper is sittin' in a drawer, waitin' to change everything.